Thank you for tuning in to Wicked Turtle Network exclusive. Follow us on all social media and also click the link tree in the description of this video.
What is up, Wicked Turtle Nation? We just wanted to let you guys know that Wicked Turtle Network has decided to join the Raze Rebellion as brand ambassadors for Raze Energy Drink. Raze Energy gives you fresh, and that stands for focus, recovery, energy, stamina, and hydration. With zero sugar, absolutely no crash, electrolytes, and BCAA aminos. I encourage everyone listening or watching right now to raise up and join the Raze Rebellion yourself by going to your local GNC, vitamin shop, or even online at repsports.com. And order yourself some Raze energy drinks or other athletic supplements in bulk. And when checking out, use the order code WICKEDTURTLE for a 15% discount. The website and order code will be in the description of this cast. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Duke's Dive. This week, before I jump into the weekly intake of my wrestling intake, What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Duke's Dive. Before I get into my weekly take on my wrestling intake this week, I just wanted to cover GCW Dive for this because, I gave away the ending last week and I really wanted to talk about this one. And, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. GCW Dive for this. This was on the 1st of January. I didn't get into it. My birthday was on the second day, so I was a little backed up. GCW Dive for this opened up with the Briscoe brothers versus Alex Zane and Blake Christian. Very great match. I seen one of the Briscoe brothers get knocked out with a door. Do believe that was Jay Briscoe there. But yeah, he got knocked out by the door. Had to sit down for a while and collect his thoughts on that one. But Mark got some payback on that one too when he did a dive outside. Boy, oh boy, this was a hard-hitting match. And the Briscoes, like I said, did pick up the win on that. They defeated them. And moving forward, we would be looking towards the Briscoes defending their tag team titles against the Rejects, John Wayne Murdoch, and Reed Bentley. Second match here was Calvin Tankman versus Yo-Ya. This was your classic big man versus little man match. This was an up for me. Calvin Tankman defeated Yo-Ya on that one. It was a really good one. You gotta go back and watch that one. Next up was Joey Janela versus Scotty 2 Hotty. Didn't think I'd be seeing that in 2022, but here it is. So awesome. A couple weeks back he wrestled Crowbar on AEW Dark or at Dark Elevation, one of the two. And that was a good match too. Now this was awesome. I dare say one of the best matches Scotty 2 Hotty's ever had. It was such a great match. Great ending. They throw back to all the classics from Scotty 2 Hotty, so it was really, really cool to see. And the next up here, we had the Do or Die Rumble. This took up a great portion of the show. Really fun stuff. Lots of surprises. Of course, I won't get into all the surprises because you got to go back and watch it yourself to watch all the surprises that came up in here. Of course, this thing started off with Jeff Jarrett coming out and smacking Effie over the head with a guitar. So just to tell you the insanity in here, that's how the the Do or Die Rumble started off. And Homicide did pick up the win on that. He gets a title shot for winning the Do or Die Rumble. And the next match we got here to finish my coverage of GCW Die for this, very hotly awaited match, very highly anticipated match. We got two of the best deathmatch wrestlers in the entire planet, Alex Colon versus John Wayne Murdoch. Now, this match did stop due to ref stoppage on this one. John Wayne Murdoch then reversed said decision. He said he was not injured enough to have that match stopped, even though the match was stopped at that point in time. They got back into a scuffle. They started fighting a little bit more, and Alex Colon got him in the camel clutch at the end. And at the end, you know, John Wayne Murdoch was not going to let go. There's a lot of people that say they see him tap. I didn't see him. I didn't see a tap. I didn't hear him say "I give up." Of course, you know what I mean. We didn't get close enough to see him, to hear him say "I give up" or whatever. But I digress. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I would have some strong words about this one and a strong opinion on this one, and here it goes. Like I said, we're talking about 1 and 2. Top 1 and 2 deathmatch wrestlers on the whole entire planet. Alex Colon and John Wayne Murdoch. To me, for 2021, for what it's worth, John Wayne Murdoch was the man in 2021. You're looking at 1, John Wayne Murdoch, 2, Alex Colon. Alex Colon is right up there. Now, of course, this is his promotion. This is his time to shine. You know, on this night, he was the better man. He ended up the champion. He ended up the better man on this one. He did win this one. I do believe that this one ended on a ref stoppage. You know, I'm not one to say that John Wayne Murdoch got fucked out on this situation. That's not what happened here, I don't believe. You know, I guess you could make that case, but you know what? The matter of the situation is the referee stopped the match. John Wayne Murdoch was not going to tap. He was not going to say, "I quit." He wasn't going to do any of that. And the referees, it's in the definition of the referee. It's the referee's job to call the match when they see fit. If you know the guy's knocked out, he can't compete. Obviously, DQs, 1, 2, 3s, and stuff like this. But the referee's got to call a stop to the match. They have that option to call the stop to the match. Obviously, that referee knew that John Wayne Murdoch was not going to say, "I quit" or "I stop the match" or anything like that. He wanted to stop that match before the man died. You know, I mean, he was bleeding buckets from his arm, from his head. They cut the match, you know. Now, whether that's the best decision or not, obviously, I don't think JWM felt that way, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, ladies and gentlemen. John Wayne Murdoch lost the match. For that night, Alex was the best man, and like I said, I gave him my MVP of the week last week because he was the man of the week that week. And yeah, this GCW Die for this definitely gets an up. It was an A minus in my book if I had to rate it. It was a great show. John Wayne Murdoch versus Alex Colon is going to be a death match to beat. That is going to be the death match to beat this year. I don't think anyone's going to come close to it. I really do think we're going to end this year, 2022, with JWM versus Alex Colon being the best match. Unless they do a rematch. It doesn't look like anybody's happy about that right now, but you know, hopefully later on we'll get a rematch out of these guys, and maybe it will be an "I quit" match, so there is no referee shenanigans on the idea of stopping this match because of, you know, the referee's got to call it. So maybe next time we see these guys, I really hope we see This one and another rubber match, a back and forth, three best out of three for these guys. Like I said, it's the best 1 and 2 deathmatch wrestlers on the planet right now. And that's my coverage for GCW Die for this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me get into my weekly take on my wrestling intake. Thank you very much. Now, AEW Dark from the 3rd this week. Now, like I said, AEW Darks and Dark Elevations and pre-show matches just get rapid results. So we'll go through that real quick. Riho defeated Valentina Rossi. Andrade El Idolo defeated JP Harlow. Megan Bain defeated Layla Gray. Scorpio Sky defeated Ray Jazz. Alex Reynolds and John Silver defeat Mike Orlando and Shane Stetson. Great to see Mike Orlando back on AEW. I hope to see him as a permanent fixture there sooner than later. Excuse me. We got Jake Atlas defeats Serpentico. Sky Blue defeats Angelica Risk. And Jay Lethal defeats Troy Hollywood. Up next, we had... Oh, wow, I see that. AEW Dark from the 3rd. We had Tony Nese defeating Alan Five Angels. Anna Jay defeating Dream Girl Ellie. We had Rolls Moles Perez and Austin Green and Donnie Primitive defeating Marina. Excuse me. We had the Gun Club defeating Rolls Ando Perez and Austin Green and Donnie Primitive. Then we had Marina Shafir defeating Valentina Rossi. We had Bobby Fish defeating Ryzen. We had Layla Hirsch defeating Chris Statlander. Red Velvet, Renee excuse me. We had legit Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander, and Red Velvet defeating Renee Michelle, Jody Castanalo, and Marina Tucker. We then had the Acclaim defeating Bronco Loco and Axton Ray. We had Dante Martin defeating Chandler Hopkins. Sammy Guevara defeating Ho Ho Low. Powerhouse Hobbs defeating Colt Cabana. And for the main event, we did have Brian Pillman Jr. defeating J.D. Drake. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to AEW Dynamite. Now, of course, the TV shows will get ups and downs. And the only ones that will be different are pay-per-view shows and Outlander indie shows like your GCW Die for this. Now let's go into AEW Dynamite from the 5th on Wednesday. We had our open up with Hangman Page defeating Bryan Danielson for the AEW Championship. The first one they went 60 minutes. Wow. The second one, they didn't go quite 60 minutes, but they had their, the judges there in case it did. Awesome stuff. Then we had Shawn Dean defeating MJF by the way of disqualification by CM Punk. We had Ward, that wasn't up for me. And of course, Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson wasn't up for me. We had Wardlow defeating Antonio Zambrone. That was an up. We had Jade Cargill defeating Ruby Soho to become the TBS Women's Champion, as this was their debut on the TBS network. This was an up for me. We had Malachi Black defeating Brian Pillman Jr. This one was a down for me. Then we did have the Jurassic Express finally defeating the Lucha Brothers to become the AEW Tag Team Champions. This was an up for me. AEW Dynamite from the 5th on Wednesday gets an up from me. Let's move on to Impact from the 6th. This was the go-home show before Impact Hard to Kill. This was on Thursday. We opened up with Tasha Steelz Lady Frost and Chelsea Green defeating Jordine Grace, Rachel Ellering, and Rosemary. This was an up for me. We had then had Jonah defeating Jake Something. This was an up. We had Masha Slamovich debuting against also debuting Sandra Moore. This was an up. We had Diano Perazzo defeating Mercedes Martinez in an awesome match. This was an up for me. And then we had Ace Austin and Madman Fulton defeating Swinger and Hernandez. This was an up. And we also had Carl Anderson and Violent by Design defeating Heath Slater. Carl Anderson defeating Heath Slater. I'm sorry, that match did a number on me. That wasn't up for me. Impact Wrestling this week wasn't up for me. My match, Now let's move on to AEW Rampage from the 7th on Friday. We had Adam Cole defeating Jake Atlas. This was an up. Had Hook defeating Aaron Solo. This was an up. We had Soho and Riho defeating Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. This was an up. We had Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz defeating Garcia and 2.0 in a very awesome hardcore match. This was an up. Rampage from the 7th on Friday gets an up. Now let's get into Hard to Kill. This was the pay-per-view of the week. Hard to Kill was an awesome show. It started out with the very awesome Women's X Division match. The very first... Oh, it did not... Excuse me. Hard to Kill. Let's start her open up with the pre-show. We had Madman Fulton defeating Jake Something. Then we did have Speedball Mike Bailey, a debuting Speedball Mike Bailey, one half of Bird Law, of course, defeating Ace Austin, Laredo Kid, and Chris Bay in a 5-way match. Now let's go on to the main show for Hard to Kill. We did open up with the Women's Ultimate X match. Tasha Steelz won the inaugural Women's X Division match. She did beat Jordine Grace, Rosemary, Alicia, who was replacing Rachel Ellering, and Lady Frost. This was an up for me. Then we had Trey Miguel defeating Steve Macklin. This was an excellent X Division match. This was an up for me. Great stuff. Then we had Jonathan Gresham defeating Chris Sabin for the ROH Heavyweight Championship match. This match was conducted under pure rules, and it was awesome to see the Ring of Honor Championship defended in an Impact ring in an Impact pay-per-view. This was just one way the multiverse doors opened. As it was teased in the opening for Trey Miguel's match, you could see some splinters of the multiverse get into there, and when you've seen video of the Rascals from WWE, of course, the MSK from Rascals, it's MSK from WWE once with the Rascals, you know what I mean? You understood what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and good night. Then we had Slater, Rhino, Willie Mack, and Rich Swann defeating the Good Brothers and Violent Done by Design in a hardcore Wars match. Now, after this match, the OGK and PCO did make their debut, and they attacked. It was an invasion. It was a Ring of Honor invasion after this Hardcore Wars match. What's going to happen there? Is this going to be for the next pay-per-view, ROH versus Impact Classic? This is the second way that the multiverse doors have opened up. We then had Moose defeating Matt Cardona and W. Morrissey for the Impact Heavyweight title. This was an up. And then the main event of the evening, Mickie James versus Deonna Purrazzo, with the third way the multiverse door leaked open, because we had a situation where this could have huge implications for the WWE Royal Rumble this year. Mickie James could have been walking into the WWE Royal Rumble as Knockouts champion, and guess what? She is. She beat Deonna Purrazzo in a Texas Death Match. I couldn't believe it was going to happen, so I'm eating crow on this one. Deonna Purrazzo lost. Mickie James is going into the WWE Royal Rumble as the Knockouts champion. This was incredible to see. History in the making. Hard to Kill gets an A+ from me. Now, the last match of the week was a Battle of the Belts. This was basically a secondary Rampage. It could have been on the same level as NXT New Year's Eve, but it wasn't. I don't feel right putting it on that level and grading it as A, B, C. So I'll just give it an up or down because it was really only a three match thing. Cody Rhodes with some COVID complications, he could not defend the belt. So the very first match on here we had was Sammy Guevara versus Dustin Rhodes for the interim TNT title championship belt. Sammy Guevara did win that one. He's the interim champion, and obviously they were saying some down the line we will be unifying the titles. There will be a match between Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, and the winner of that will be the permanent 100% TNT champion. They would unify those belts, just like UFC or boxing would, or any other contact sport with an interim champion. So that's how that goes. We were let know. Next up, we had Ricky Starks defeating Matt Sydal for the FTW Championship. This was an up. That other one was an up. Britt Baker defeated Riho for the AEW Women's Championship belt. This was an up. Britt Baker has never defeated Riho in singles or multi-competition, so to see her do this was another notch on the DMD's belt. It was a great show. It gets an up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the rundown. Let me go through the rundown. AEW Dynamite from the 5th. My match of the show was Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson. For Impact on the 6th, Thursday, my match of the week was Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes Martinez. For AEW Rampage on Friday, my match of the week was Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz versus Garcia in 2.0. From Hard to Kill, my match of the show was the Women's X Division match. And for Battle of the Belts, my star show, my match of the week was Sammy G versus Dustin Rhodes. My man of the week this week was Hangman Adam Page for winning that match. That brutal, bloody match. Both of them busted open, knocked out, drag them out, smash mouth match. Woman of the week, Mickie James, because she has to be this week. I mean, who else could it be? Unfortunately, it couldn't be the Virtuoso. She did not get the win this time. Mickie James is going to be doing some incredible stuff. Hey, unless Virtuoso somehow, some way takes the belt before the Royal Rumble this week. I mean, I'm sure she was entitled to a rematch somehow, some way, somewhere. My show of the week, Hard to Kill, of course. Of course. My moment of the week was that Women's X Division match. Now, to get into some promotions of this week, I do want to promote the Wicked Turtle Network. This week, there's a lot of content coming up. Mr. Paul Penguin has an episode. reviewed some chicken wings from Taco Bell. So we got a Penguin Eats. He also have an episode of Fixing the Penguin. That's Paul's journey on his weight loss journey. Ladies and gentlemen, join him. Check that out. Some really awesome down to earth stuff on that one. I really enjoyed it. That's already out. And as of filming this Sunday night, we are going to get together Monday and we're going to record an episode of What's Up Peeps. So that's another thing to look out for. Follow the link tree, click the link tree, follow all things Wicked with the Wicked Turtle Network. Give us a like, give us a comment, share it out, support the Wicked Turtle Nation, support the Wicked Turtle Network. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Duke's Dive. I'll catch you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to Wicked Turtle Network exclusive. Follow us on all social media, and also click the link tree in the description of this video.
What is up, Wicked Turtle Nation? We just wanted to let you guys know that Wicked Turtle Network has decided to join the Raze Rebellion as brand ambassadors for Raze Energy Drink. Raze Energy gives you fresh, and that stands for focus, recovery, energy, stamina, and hydration. With zero sugar, absolutely no crash, electrolytes, and BCAA aminos. I encourage everyone listening or watching right now to raise up and join the Raze Rebellion yourself by going to your local GNC, vitamin shop, or even online at repsports.com. And order yourself some Raze energy drinks or other athletic supplements in bulk. And when checking out, use the order code WICKEDTURTLE for a 15% discount. The website and order code will be in the description of this cast. Bing bong.